You're listening to TRAXXfm's podcast. If you've enjoyed our content, more podcasts are available on the RTM Click app and website. Let us know what you think. Please email us at traxxfm.rtm@gmail.com. Like and follow us on social media at TRAXXfm Official.
All right, welcome back. You're currently hanging out with us on Health on Tracks, 11:15 to 11:45 every Monday, right here on your favorite station, TRAXXfm. And today we are talking to Nur Fasihah Ashari, who's a pharmacist with the Putrajaya Presint 9th Health Clinic. We are talking about preventing antimicrobial resistance together. Welcome to the studio, Fasihah. How are you today?
Thank you, DJ.
DJ. My name's KG.
Sorry.
Okay.
Basically, I just recovered from flu actually, but overall, I'm fine. So,
Is that a way that you're trying to say that you won't sing for us today?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Message received loud and clear. But today we're going to be talking about something very important. And I think this is something that is of a growing concern, especially with the number of antibiotics that can be used effectively seems to be reducing in the world. So we will be talking about what are antibiotics and what are some of the resistance. What is it called? Antibiotic resistance right here. So of course, for our listeners, if you want to check out what is happening and you're unable to tune into a radio as of right now, you can definitely watch us live on Facebook Live as well. Put us some questions, and if the questions are pertinent to the topic that we are talking about today, we will be more than happy to answer it. Actually, not me, but Fasihah will be more than happy to answer it. And shall we start the interview then?
All right, sure.
Okay, so we start off with, what are antibiotics?
All right. I think most of us have heard what is antibiotic. Basically, it is and have heard of antibiotic, and I assume that you must have took them at least once in your lifetime.
Yes.
So here I am today to enlighten you about the proper usage and the safety of antibiotic. So in a simple sentence, right? Antibiotic is a medicine which is used to fight bacterial infection in our bodies, which it has been used many years ago and it has saved millions of lives. Alright, but bear in mind, everyone, not every infection requires antibiotic because some infection can be caused by viral infections. Because viral infection does not need antibiotic. So, right, everyone need to have a proper assessment by the doctor, alright, in order to determine the type of infection, whether is it viral infection or bacterial infection, so that we can determine whether do you need antibiotic or not. So, improper use of antibiotic, right, can lead to a future problem that we call it as antibiotic resistance.
All right. So what is antibiotic resistance? Because it's something that we hear more often nowadays. There's been a lot of research being done into it as well. So can you tell us what is antibiotic resistance?
I'm sure a lot of you have heard it, but not sure what does it mean.
Yes.
So, okay, it is a condition where, alright, the antibiotic that has been used to treat a bacterial infection has lost the ability to fight the bacteria itself. So how does this happen? Basically, the bacteria itself have evolved and mutate and becoming stronger and making antibiotic fail to fight the bacteria. So I'm going to give you an analogy, right? Between superheroes and a bad guy. The superhero is the antibiotic itself, right? The bad guy, the villain is the bacteria, right? The more we use the superhero powers, which is the antibiotic itself, right? The bad guy, which is the bacteria, can learn how to resist them. Meaning it's like the superheroes, which is the antibiotic, keep using the same movement, the same method, but the villain, they figure it out how to overcome it.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, actually, this is a big deal for us as the healthcare professional because once the bacteria become more resistant, the superhero's powers, which is the antibiotic itself, right, they won't work well. So, treating infection would become more harder, and even simple surgeries might get riskier. So, this is what causes the antibiotic resistance.
And what causes this incident? Because I think this is where the human aspect comes into play.
All right.
So what causes the incidence of antibiotic resistance, say, in an individual?
Okay, there are a few factors that contribute to antibiotic resistance. Number one, all right, the antibiotic was used or being prescribed to treat the disease that does not need antibiotic. For example, viral infection.
Yeah, true.
Right. Secondly, is basically antibiotic was stopped without doctor's advice. For example, you will be prescribed antibiotic for, let's say, for 7 days or 5 days. But on the day 3 itself, you feel a lot better. And then you stop the medication without any doctor's advice. Thirdly, is basically the usage of antibiotic in an appropriate dose. For instance, you will be given 2 tablets twice a day, right? Which is 2 tablets twice a day. And then you have been taking it 1 tablet. So it is inappropriate dose. And then sharing your antibiotic with another individual, doesn't matter if they are your spouse, your family members, your friend, but it is one of the factors that may contribute to antibiotic resistance. So we don't want this. So yeah.
So yeah, you need to get your effective dose. Do not dose yourself with antibiotics. Too much is also wrong. Too little is definitely wrong.
Yes.
Okay, what we're going to do right now, Fasihah, is we're going to be taking a very short break. And once we get back, there is more to talk about, especially about preventing antimicrobial resistance together. But right now, Nur Zahira Abdullah says, hello, Miss Pharmacist. And I think might be a friend of yours. I'm not too sure. All right, so, and as well as Christiana Chin, good morning to everyone. And of course, please do ask questions. If you have questions regarding antimicrobial resistance, we'll be more than happy to answer it. The Pharmacist will be more than happy to answer it right here. And our guest is Nur Fasihah Ashari. We're talking about preventing antimicrobial resistance together. We're going to be back in just about a bit. Hey there, welcome back. We are talking about preventing antimicrobial resistance together on Health on Tracks today with our guest, Nur Fasihah Ashari, who's a pharmacist with Putrajaya Presint 9th Health Clinic. Now, of course, we spoke about what is antibiotics, what is antibiotic resistance, and what causes such things. Now, let's talk about why is antimicrobial resistance a problem? What is its impact on the society as a whole?
All right. Okay, antibiotic resistance, right? It is a worrying issue in our population and our global health. Okay, the emergence and spread cases of antibiotic resistance has exposed our healthcare system to becoming more challenging and threaten the effectiveness in treating infection. The term is effectiveness, right? So, a little bit about antibiotic history. Okay, where most of the antibiotic were being produced before 1970s, which is long way ago. However, alright, over the 30 years, the number of antibiotics were being produced were declining in trend, and the current pool that were successfully produced, approved in between 2014 until 2019 is only 10 types. Can you imagine how little are they? So, this is quite worrying actually, because the number of effective antibiotics were being reducing in trend and causing the the existing antibiotic to work lesser because they can no longer act as they should be on the patients. So what do I mean by that is the common infection becoming more challenging to treat. For example, I give you an example. In treating lung infection, usually we can use the typical antibiotic. However, right, because of the antibiotic resistance at the lung infection itself, it causes the clinicians having difficulty to treat the simple infections, which lead the patient itself to have a prolonged illness and increased risk of death. So another say is that procedure like surgeries, chemotherapy, organ transplant, which rely on the antibiotic itself to prevent infection, becoming more riskier. Another impact, right, on the society is basically on the economy, of course, right, which cause a higher health cost, which is due to the prolonged treatment, right, increased hospitalizations, and of course, the more expensive, or we call it the specialized drugs. So, and lastly, which is it will impact on the community itself. How does it impact? By, the community is exposed to the risk of infection disease, which is spread more easily, meaning the resistant bacteria can move easily and infect people, animal, and even the environment. So this will make the isolation of the resistant bacteria, especially the superbug, becoming more difficult. So we don't want this.
Yep, and absolutely, and I think you hit the point in the head, because when you said that, the thing is that I understood was secondary infections become a much scarier thing as well, because secondary infections have been reduced by very much due to technology, due to the cleanliness, due to the system, the SOPs of the current systems. But in the event a bacteria, a superbug, gets into someone who just had chemotherapy, where the immune system is at a very low state, they are very much at risk of developing another infection that can cost them their lives.
Correct.
Absolutely. Wow. That is very, very scary. Now, of course, what is the right way to obtain antibiotics?
Oh, this is a very famous question.
Okay.
All right. Obviously, right, when obtaining antibiotic, you should always involve consultation with the doctor after getting a full assessment of your symptoms and after they examine you. Meaning, if your case is confirmed bacterial infection, again, bacterial infections, confirmed bacterial infection, surely the doctor will prescribe you with antibiotic. So without doctor prescriptions, we as a pharmacist, we cannot supply the antibiotic. Easy as that. So, So I would always advise, everyone to consult with a healthcare professional for proper evaluations and guidance regarding the antibiotic use, and avoid buying antibiotic online or any unauthorized sources such as uncontrolled purchase and use of antibiotic basically can lead to harmful effect lah, which is one of it is the antibiotic resistance.
Yes, absolutely. And also superbugs, so scary.
Yeah.
And of course, this is another question that I feel a lot of people tend to do on their own without taking into account of the advice of the doctors or the pharmacists. Can I stop taking antibiotics after a day of taking them, or reduce the number of pills taken after feeling well?
Okay, not at all. Obviously, cannot do this. Okay, the reason is because, right, taking antibiotic is not the same as taking cough or flu medicines that you can stop consuming once you feel well. Okay, this is what we call incomplete treatment, right?
Yep.
Okay, for antibiotic, it is important to complete the entire prescribed course of antibiotic even if you feel well. Okay, because there is a reason why. Stopping early or reducing the number of pills basically can contribute to antibiotic resistance, okay, because it may not completely or eliminate the bacteria that causing the infections. So, in other words, incomplete treatment, right, may cause some bacteria to survive and develop resistance to the antibiotic, which making the future infection becoming more challenging to treat. So, we don't want this to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you already said, fever, cough, flu, they do not necessarily require antibiotics.
Correct.
And antibiotics are only needed during... when are they truly needed? Only during bacterial infection.
Once you are being diagnosed with bacterial infection.
Yes,
Yeah.
only bacterial. So if you are having a viral stomach flu or something, please don't take antibiotics. Like back when I was younger, I gotta tell you, when I used to go to the clinic, each time we went to the clinic, you always leave with antibiotics, right?
Yeah.
I think the understanding of the superbug was not very, very clear back then, but I think over time the doctors, they've also started strengthening and also tightening the SOPs to make sure that unless you have a bacterial infection, I'm not giving any antibiotics. And please don't request for antibiotics, let the doctor do their job. And right now, what we're going to do is we're going to be taking another short break right here on Tracks. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. We are currently speaking to Nur Fasihah Ashari, preventing antimicrobial resistance together, right here on Tracks. Welcome back. We are currently speaking to Nur Fasihah Ashari. We are talking about preventing antimicrobial resistance together. And let's talk about a question that we have on Facebook Live. Omelita Nell asks, what if a toddler vomits the antibiotic after just a few seconds after he had swallowed the antibiotic? Do we give the toddler another dose, or do we wait till the next day for the next dose to be given? Thank you very much.
Right, when it comes to oral medications, rule of thumb, if you has been administered the drug for more than 30 minutes, you don't have to redose the medication. But for this case, for this toddler, right, it was being saying that this toddler was taking the medication and after a few seconds experiencing vomiting, right? So by right, the parents should redose the medication. The reason is because for oral medication, it takes around 30 minutes to be absorbed into the gut. So that's why they need to reduce the medication if patient has been experiencing vomiting for less than 30 minutes.
So if it's less than 30 minutes, make sure that you retake. If it's more than 30 minutes, they can wait for the next day. Okay, lovely. Thank you so much for that. And I hope that answers your question, Omelita. And well, of course, thank you very much for that question as well. And right now, let's talk about what is society's responsibility, especially patients, to ensure and maintain the effectiveness of antibiotics.
Okay. Rule of thumb, number 1, you must follow your healthcare advice. Basically, all right, patients should take antibiotic exactly as prescribed by their doctors, all right? Completing the course antibiotic is important, even though the symptom improve before the medication has finished. Okay, secondly, just like I mentioned previously, do not share your antibiotic with others because every treatment, every management for every patient is different. So antibiotics should be based on the individual health assessment because sharing antibiotic with others can lead to inappropriate use and contribute to antibiotic resistance. And lastly, this is very famous one. Prevention is better than cure. So you must practice a good personal or food hygiene, which is regular hand washing, wearing masks in the crowded places, because this can prevent infections and reduce the need for antibiotic. And of course, getting vaccination against preventable disease will help to reduce the overall burden infections and decreasing the reliance of antibiotics. Yeah.
And wow, that is very well said. And finally, if you have to say anything else for our listeners, is there anything that you would like to say for them?
Okay, all right. Basically, we do have World Antibiotic Awareness Week, right? Which is celebrated annually from 18 to 24th November. So our aim is basically to raise the awareness among the community to use antibiotic rationally and responsible to control antibiotic. It is important for the individual to understand that not all infection require antibiotic. If you a whole message for everyone or dear listeners that each of us can play our part in combating this antibiotic resistance. Number one, most common infections are caused by virus, do not need antibiotic. For example, just viral infection just now, the cough, flu and fever. Alright, secondly, the antibiotic misuse is the leading cause of antibiotic resistance, which it can be fatal. So, I guess if you have any further questions, alright, anything that is related towards any medications, so do not hesitate to call us at NPCC, or we call it National Pharmacy Call Center, at 1800-886722. Again, I repeat, 1800-886722 from Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. except on the public holiday. So,
all right. Okay, so you guys can definitely call 1-800-886722 for more information regarding antibiotics and also if you have any questions regarding health itself. And with that, I think it's about time that we say thank you to Nur Fasihah Ashari for taking her time for being here, to be here and to help us out with our questions about antibiotic as well as antimicrobial resistance. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good day. And I hope your cough goes away too. Do you need antibiotics for that?
No.
No. Okay. All right. With that, thank you so much. And it's now time for more music to come your way. This is TRAXXfm. You're currently listening to Health on Tracks. Don't go anywhere. My name is KG. I'll be back in the next hour.
You're listening to TRAXXfm's podcast. If you've enjoyed our content, more podcasts are available on the RTM Click app and website. Let us know what you think. Please email us at traxxfm.rtm@gmail.com. Like and follow us on social media at TRAXXfm Official.